Well, welcome to today's rant. Got a few things to talk about, and sorry I didn't get back to you when I was up in the falls. I got real busy. Had a great time up there, but back home and just about getting close to 70 degrees. So I will be on my motorcycle in a few minutes, but want to just discuss a few of the current events. And one of the things I do in January is try to evaluate everything I'm doing. And is it bearing fruit? Is it something I should still be doing? Or, kind of prune the trees from what's not bearing fruit. And then, of course, you want to focus your attention on what is actually accomplishing something, and then if the things we're accomplishing feel like let's do them better. How can we do them better? How can we be more effective in our ministry, in our calling? So I love January. It's time of evaluation for us, but we had the most incredible New Year conference, which I've already discussed a little bit with you. And again, I felt like every session was so profound. And it's been mostly the message coming forth. And I felt like the Harvest Conference this year, like I said, was one of the clearest messages, if not the clearest message we ever had go forth from a conference, if you take it all together. And then we had the KBA that seemed to take it up. It's like part two. And then the New Year conference had just continued on. None of it planned. And but along the same theme, and you just feel, we really are so close to so many great and awesome things happening, so many troubling things happen. They come together usually. And but I also said I was going to be sharing with you more about the dream I had last December on the Second American Revolutionary / Civil War, and that I think we're, in some ways already into. It's already happening. In some ways, the Civil War never ended. There are ways the Revolutionary War never ended from heaven's perspective, and that's what I was shown. That we had such a shallow, I think we're given, our founding fathers were given a clear vision of a godly nation and how to become that, and a place where there was righteousness and justice for all, there was liberty for all, and because we didn't finish the job, we thought we were, once we got independence from Britain, job's done. But if we had really believed what we put in our documents, our Declaration of Independence, the reasons why we were seeking independence, that all men are created equal, there would have been no need for the Civil War. If the Civil War, and thank God for the eradicating slavery in America. Sorry it had to come to a war to do that. Britain eradicated it throughout the British Empire without a civil war. There are better ways to do things than war, but ours was inevitable because we didn't finish really making this a country where there's fairness, where there's equality under the law, and justice for all. That's what I was shown, because if the Civil War had really gone on to complete what it should have, there would have been no need for civil rights movement and things like that. We wouldn't be having discrimination. These things have to be completed in our country. And what I was shown in this dream, this is our reason for existing. And now there are others, but this is our main reason to be a place that really demonstrates liberty, what liberty looks like. with true freedom, the way God created men to be free. What that looks like and what it looks like to be, everyone's considered and respected as equal under the law. There are other factors. Well, we see today the divisions are increasing pretty dramatically, pretty fast. We have people, newly elected congressmen, and congresswomen, advocating which in almost any other time would have been considered sedition. And when they say things like Donald Trump was not truly elected, what they're saying, then they don't believe the Constitution. They're not standing for the Constitution. They're not defending it as they took an oath to do, because constitutionally, Donald Trump was elected. Bill Clinton was elected with way less than 50% of the popular vote. It was just a little over 40% for him. That's because there were 3 people running, but he didn't have a majority. He could never say he was elected by a majority of the people. So, but in a republic, that's how it works. And there are reasons for it, really wise reasons for it. But when someone just arbitrarily says, I disagree with that part of the Constitution, I'm just going to disregard it, you can do that. There are others who will do it to other parts, and then we have no Constitution. We have no supreme law of the land. We have nothing to get to. And those moorings have been broken. I think we could just about say, with seeing what the judges are doing, the federal judges all over the country, what they're doing, encountering executive orders and all, which they have no authority whatsoever to do. They should all be impeached, if not arrested, indicted, for such a violation of our laws and the Constitution. And I think it's going to come to that. I think we're headed for some really rough times, as I was shown in the dream. But I was also shown that it was right and it was successful. Well, I want to determine what is right about it. What is the right and what is the wrong? The people I've talked about this dream with in depth almost automatically assume it's liberal versus conservative. I don't think so. I think that's going to get us far off the ball of what this is really about. And so I'm going to be unpackaging it in more depth in our Word for the Week, which you can subscribe to at no cost. And it's sent to your email box once a week, and where you can read it and you can have a record of what it said. I am a better writer than I am a speaker, you may have noticed. And so when I really want to address something clearly, I tend to lean on the writing. Also absorb things that are written much better. When people sit down and want to share things with me, they tell me about dreams and visions and all verbally, like I'm doing with you here. I tend to just glaze over. But if I can read them, if they give them to me in writing, I can absorb them much better. I can understand them. People are different, but some people hear better. They do better absorbing knowledge by hearing, some by seeing, reading, different ways that we are better at communicating and receiving communication. That you learn in basic communication courses. But this is something that I keep getting more on, and it keeps unfolding for me, and I see it. It's like I don't see how I didn't see it before. But somehow this dream was a key that just opened up everything. And now I have, I've studied history for over 50 years and over half a century. And there were major things in our history that I all of a sudden understood. And I hadn't understood them that way before. So one part I'm really excited about unpackaging this, but I ask you to seek the Lord yourself. Because I also sat down and I said, if someone just shared with me that they had such a dream, I might tend to be really skeptical about that. So I can understand anyone being skeptical about it that didn't have the dream. And that was me. So I understand skepticism, but I think as we unpack it, it will be better. Here comes somebody walking through the woods. My dogs are attacking them, so I'm going to have to check off. But I ask you to consider this, that what we need more than anything else is to seek the Lord for His perspective, His vision for our country. What is God's purpose for America? What is His vision? I think when that is clearly articulated, I think many people are going to get it and they're going to say, this is worth fighting for. And I'm not just saying with physically with bullets or with things like that. When I say fight, I mean stand up and resolve that this is worth, mobilizing for. It's worth, hopefully, a lot of things can be changed still through due elections and all that, even though I think they're in jeopardy now because so much of the population has resolved they are not going to accept what are very basic constitutional processes in our type of government, in a republic. They say we're not accepting it. We're not accepting the vote of the people. So we got some real issues. And but the main thing we need right now ourselves, and I'm asking you to seek, ask God to give you dreams, not just about the Civil War. Ask Him to give you dreams about our purpose as individuals, as a church, and as a nation. Because what is really about to unfold is going to ultimately determine, I think in many nations, if not all nations, which one are really sheep nations or goat nations, according to the Lord's definition of those. So remember, He said when He returns, He's going to separate the nations. Sheep on one side, goats on the other, and you want to be a sheep and not a goat. We want our nation to be a sheep nation and not a goat nation. So thank you for joining me for today's rant.